This is Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY. It's a half hour of local chat about things that are important in the community, people making a difference. It's sponsored by Independent Bank. For the first time in 3 weeks, Katie Huckle is here. I've been handling the show. I've been flying solo the last couple of weeks, so I'm glad to see you.
Did you miss me?
Of course.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. What do we have today?
Oh, okay. Here's what we've got. So near and dear to our hearts, it's Oasis Family Resource Center. We've got our executive director, Sara Shields, in the studio with us this morning. Good morning, Sara.
Hello.
Hi there. We've had Sara on the show before to talk about our luncheon, which was a wild success this year, wasn't it? It was packed. Great. It was sold out. The food was good. The speakers were great. People left with a spring in their step. But kind of looping back around to serious subject matter in that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Yes.
Can you tell us about what the agency has been doing to create awareness?
The big thing that we've been trying to really make sure that we educate people about this month is, number one, that domestic violence doesn't look all the time like it does on TV. It's not always physical abuse. It's a lot of times emotional, mental abuse. And sometimes the physical abuse will start as emotional abuse. So we want people to recognize when they're in a abusive situation right away and know that there's resources here in the community so that they can leave.
Okay. So when you talk about emotional abuse, can you give us some examples if we've got listeners that don't really know what that means? Is that keeping someone's cell phone from them? What does that look like?
It can look like that.
Okay.
Isolating people, threatening them, taking their money away is a big thing. Mm-hmm. Making them feel like they're crazy. Telling them stuff didn't happen the way that they think it did. Manipulating people, and really it's all about power and control. So that those are, we know that abusers, it isn't that they have an anger management problem. They might have that too, but really it all comes down to power and control. They're trying to have that over somebody else.
Mm-hmm. And so when you see the warning signs, like let's say someone's in a situation like that, what advice, what resources are available? What should they do?
Well, they can always come talk to us at Oasis. We can work on making sure that they're safe. Number one, that's the number one priority always. But then we can start talking to them, making a plan with them about how they can get out of that situation. We can offer them some resources. Mm-hmm. We don't want anybody to feel like if they come in and talk to us that means they have to leave right then and there. We know that people are, they leave an average of 7 times before they leave for good. Mm-hmm. So we know that some people either aren't ready or they just want to talk about, is this abuse? Is this something I should be concerned about? And so we have some really great advocates over there that can help them sort some of that out.
You gave me the chills when you said, isolating someone, making them feel like they're crazy. If, I have said to friends over the years, I don't know enough about this to be as helpful as I should. I think you should talk to a professional. And I think it would be good for folks in the community to know that they can call at any time and run scenarios by one of your advocates or one of your counselors. Okay. And do they just call the main office?
Yep.
Okay. And then you can give them feedback or maybe even schedule an appointment or.
Right. We can do a lot over the phone. And we're also, we also are there Monday through Friday, so people can just drop in to talk to one of the advocates, or they can call and make an appointment if they feel like they're going to need a little extra time.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree with you more in that when we think about domestic violence, don't we, Rich? We think about bruises. We think about hitting, combined with yelling, probably, but not the other things that you're talking about. That goes deeper with the psychology of it.
You can be abusive without being verbally abusive, as Sara just mentioned. I mean, even the isolating of money. Mm-hmm. I actually had a friend I graduated high school with who basically her husband at the time put all of the bank accounts in his name,
Right.
and systematically just made it so that when it was time for her to try to break free, it was really hard.
Right. Yeah, we see that a lot. And it's not, even if it never becomes physically aggressive, the threat that it could be, that type of threat, that I'm going to hurt you, or if you don't do this, you're going to be hurt, on top of having no money and having that, and being isolated from friends and family, all of those things together. I mean, that's a big reason why people stay. And that's one of the questions that I'm asked all the time doing what I do is, why doesn't she just leave? That's probably the number one question that I get asked. And it's like, there's lots of reasons. And money is a big one.
Mm-hmm. And the children too.
The children.
Can you speak to that?
So when someone is leaving, a lot of times they're leaving a lot of their resources too. They're leaving the money, they're leaving the house, they're leaving that what appears on the outside as that stable living environment. And so that's a threat that the abuser will make, as you're leaving and you don't even have a house that you're going to, or you don't even have a place that you're staying. I'm going to get custody. I'm going to make sure that you never see the kids again, or I'm going to tell the judge that you're on drugs, or that you're a bad mom, or whatever. They hear all kinds of stuff, and it scares them from leaving.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Again, it gives you the chills, this kind of stuff,
Absolutely.
And when you say isolating from friends and family, it's because you don't tell anybody about any of this stuff that's going on. You don't need anybody else but me type stuff, isn't it?
It's that, or even just people will say, well, I'm going to go see my mom this afternoon, and it's a guilt trip and threats and all kinds of other stuff that comes with that. And for families, they don't understand all the time how complex the whole thing is. So people end up kind of unintentionally burning those bridges, because the family is wondering, well, why doesn't she just leave?
Right.
We've tried to help her get out and she's not leaving. Well, there's a lot more to it that they might not see or understand.
Right. And I know of a woman that shared with me that in her family, it was you're going to stay together no matter what, till death do us part type stuff. So there was all this guilt and shaming about, well, only losers leave, or only a failure doesn't stick it out. And she told me later, if I wouldn't have had that, I would have left way before. But there was almost the opposite. Why doesn't, instead it was like, well, if you're strong, you're going to make it work. And she said that was very wrong. And they just didn't know the whole story,
Yeah, we see that.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Let's talk about the shelter, and you're at capacity. You're full.
We've been full for a while. We don't want anybody to have to choose between being abused and being homeless. We don't want someone to stay where they're being abused because they don't want to live in their car. So we do have the emergency shelter and it does, two things. It keeps people safe during that time period when they're leaving. It's a very dangerous time for people. So we have a lot of different safety things in place so that they can't be found there. We don't let anybody else into the shelter besides the people who are staying there. But also it gives them a chance to get on their own 2 feet, to find childcare and employment and housing and get back out into the community on their own. But we've been full, and part of the reasons it's taking a little bit longer for people to find affordable housing, so they'll stay longer. We're still not going to turn people away. We're going to find some sort of alternative arrangement for them, but it's been full and it's been busy there.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
How much more difficult is it in a small town like this to be able to be away from someone who is abusing you? It's got to be tough. I would imagine you're probably housing folks from out of town who are trying to get away, right?
Sometimes we do. Right now we can't because we've been full. So we give preference to people in this
Local,
area.
right.
There's other shelters that we will work with in other areas to kind of move people around when they need to be. but it's hard because people know us, they know what we do, they know that we're there. So abusive partners will call us a lot looking for their spouse or their girlfriend, and we have very, very strict confidentiality protocols, so they're still safe with us. But it does make it a little bit harder in a small town when people know where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What can the community do? You're at capacity, which has got to be stressful in terms of raising money, feeding all these folks, housing all these folks, and the resources to teach them life skills and job skills. And what can the community do right now to support your mission and your work?
Well, we are always accepting volunteers, so people can volunteer to help, to transport people, take people to work. Sometimes, they're leaving without vehicles and often looking for childcare. So we're always taking volunteers, and if anybody's interested in volunteering, they can do the link on our website, or they can just come in and get a volunteer application. We do a background check, and that takes about a week. Mm-hmm. And then we can usually get them started on whether it's 1 hour a week or 20 hours a week. We always have that to do. And also people can support us by making a donation. Prices are up on everything, food, utility costs, everything to help the people coming to Oasis. Everything costs more now, so people can always donate. There's links to do that on our website and on our Facebook page.
What is the website?
It is CadillacOasis-FRC.org.
Okay.
Or they can find us on Facebook, and there's links to all of that there too.
Okay. The community supports you. I wish everyone could raise their hand right now so that you could see this sea of people that believe in the work that Oasis does. Fun fact, Rich, the Oasis also has a place for pets to go. So, you're leaving, right? And
I didn't even think of that aspect.
Sure.
There.
We are still taking donations there on Mondays and Thursdays.
Okay.
And we're using it just for survivors now.
Okay.
So their advocates can take them in there, and they can shop for free and get whatever they need any day.
So you are taking donations as well?
On Mondays and Thursdays, we do have somebody down there to accept the donations.
Do they get things like pots and pans and sheets and also?
They do, and those are things that we can always use more of, because as people are moving out of our shelter and into their own place, or even if they're moving just into their own place right away, they usually are moving without all of the basic supplies that you have, the pots, pans, cleaning supplies, furniture sometimes. So we try to help them get all of those things too.
Mm-hmm. You're a catch-all for so many things. Rich, they have counselors and advocates that come into other people's homes to help with parenting and to life skills. Can you talk about that?
We have a program for kids who are ages 0 to 5, and we have home visitors that will come in. They literally put a blanket on the floor and start engaging the child in activities, and at the same time teaching the parent or the caregiver about their developmental milestones, how to engage their kids in educational activities, and just how to spend that time with them. And then they do some assessments and some healthcare checks and stuff while they're in too.
There has to be a specific training that is involved in how children process trauma at home, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The people that work in that program with the children, they go through a pretty extensive training. We use Parents as Teachers curriculum, so they have a lot of training on that, a lot of training on adverse childhood events and how that affects later life.
Sara, you in particular have training, quite a pedigree with. Can you talk to us about your background?
Yeah. I am trying really hard to finish my doctorate in psychology, but I'm a nurse. I've worked in the behavioral health for 20 years downstate, and have some other I have a degree in health arts and sciences, and that was really kind of focused on families and
She's got the right background to help the people that need to be helped. I think that's such an important piece for someone in your role, because you've got other folks coming to you with cases, and I know you do like a weekly huddle with people to talk about their cases, and they're
Right.
running things by you. And because you've been in behavioral health, I think you've seen a lot. And it was in the Detroit area, is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I worked right in Detroit for 20 years. I get embarrassed sometimes talking about my background, but it really has helped, because we see all kinds of things at Oasis. We are seeing more and more people coming in with mental health diagnoses, and I feel like we're able to handle that pretty well too.
Two very different things. And how do you help those folks?
Well, we have counselors there now, and our advocates are trained pretty well on supportive listening. But we don't operate all by ourselves. There's other resources in the community. We do a lot of referrals to community mental health when we need to. So we try to partner with a lot of different agencies, and I think with some of the other agencies in the area that I've worked with, we want everyone to feel like there's never any wrong door. So if they come into Oasis, even if they don't have an issue with domestic violence, we're going to get them to the place that can help them the best. And same thing with any agency in the community. I think that we've been working pretty well together and making sure people get to the right spot.
Is it the Human Services umbrella that you belong to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the name of that organization?
It's the Human Services Leadership Council. So all of the people in the area that lead human services agencies get together and try to collaborate.
It's like a little bit like borrowing a cup of sugar from the neighbor. Like, okay, we do this, we don't have that, but this person does have it. And there's reciprocity, and you all get along so well.
Right, and we work together on whatever that person's plan is, so when they come into Oasis, we have a plan that we sit down and make with them right away. It's always safety first, and then we look at other things. If they're needing job skills, then we're connecting them with where they can get those. If they have mental health needs, we connect them with the mental health agencies. So we all will function off of the same kind of plan for the person.
It has been said to me that Cadillac is known for its social programs, its services, its ability to help people in need. And because you've lived, originally from Flint, lived in the Detroit area, is that true?
That Cadillac has really strong social services?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think, and coming from someplace like Detroit, there's tons of places, but they don't have the same close personal feel. There's just so many people sometimes that they're trying to, where I came from, somebody who does like what our advocates do, a case manager, has 200 people on their caseload. Wow. They didn't even know all the people that they were helping. It was kind of like on paper. Here we can really wrap our arms around someone, see them through the whole process, and it just is a lot more personable. And we're better supported, I think, here by the community. And that helps, so that makes a big difference.
Can you tell us about your Christmas outreach, what your plans are for your families during the holidays?
So all of the families who receive services from us are able to sign up to be sponsored. And so we have other families, businesses in the area that can sign up to sponsor them. And we get together like a list of some things that they need and how many people are in the family. And we do an exchange so that those things can come and be dropped off at Oasis. And then we get them all together and drive them to their houses and give them their Christmas bundle.
I'm hearing more and more, especially as your kids get older, it's not quite as fun, is it, Rich, when they get older to open up the presents and stuff. More and more families are saying,
Do the giving that way.
yeah, that's right.
Right.
And offices too. I would think that would be a great opportunity for local offices to pool together their resources too.
Yeah, and we have people that do that, different businesses in the area that have done that, and we'll be getting the sponsorship forms together here in the next few weeks, and so if anybody's interested in that and wants to get one of those forms from us, they can just call the office.
Awesome. Yes, please, please, please support her with her holiday work here. In February, there's an adult prom coming up, Rich.
Okay.
Okay, so when you think of prom, you think of what?
I think of dresses. I think of getting dressed up. I think of just a fun time.
Slow dancing, tuxedos, punch bowls.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pictures,
yes. So tell us about what that event is. I haven't been to it, but I've seen pictures, and people are just having a blast.
It is a lot of fun.
Okay.
I didn't go to my own prom.
Okay.
So I went last year, and it was a whole different kind of experience. I spent the whole day getting dressed, getting ready, getting my makeup done, getting my hair done.
How wonderful.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was just dancing. We did have spiked punch, and we had a photo booth and some prizes. We did have a prom king and queen.
Oh, wow.
So it was a lot of fun.
Rich, we might have to go. We might have to throw our hats in the ring.
Yeah, we might.
Okay.
We might. So details coming on that.
Details are coming.
Okay. All right. Very good. Biggest fundraisers for you, Sarah, during the year. Which ones are the biggies?
Well, the prom that we just talked about. And then we also do Celebrate Women luncheon in
June.
And I think the favorite thing about that event is the gift basket raffle that we do. And we give awards away to some women in the community who've made a big difference.
And the monies that are raised from that go to like the most immediate needs, or do you just throw it into a bag and then figure out where the biggest need is at the time? How's that work?
Kind of a little bit of both. We will a lot of times have a big repair or something that we need to do at the shelter, or we might need new beds or something like that. So we would try to do that first, and then we do a lot of assistance for clients. I'm always surprised by how many people's phones get broken in the process of leaving. So when people need a phone as they're leaving, those are the kind of things that we will be raising money for.
And that's a lifeline if you don't have that.
Right.
Yeah. I know that the online presence, the Facebook presence is always good. And when you guys are looking around for exactly what it is that you need, Facebook is a good way to keep up with folks, right?
Right.
Okay. What's that address?
It is Cadillac Oasis-FRC.org is our website. And on Facebook, you can just search Oasis Family Resource Center, and you'll find us.
Okay. Now, how about, I know frequently there is a call for diapers, wipes, baby-related items. Is that always an ongoing need?
It's always a need. Formula is always a need. And then we are always accepting donations for the pantry at shelter. We just did a big food drive at Walmart, stuffed the Blue Goose this week. And so we did get 4 carfuls of non-perishable foods.
So you stuffed 4 Blue Gooses?
We did.
Nice.
But that goes very quickly. So always accepting canned goods, pasta, cereal, boxed meal kits, things like that. Or even a grocery gift card so we can get dairy products and fresh fruits and vegetables and things like that. We've got a lot of kids over there. We want to make sure they're eating healthy foods.
Okay, very good. The process that people go through to donate, how does that work?
To donate items, they can be dropped off at our downtown office, which is 118 Mitchell. And if you just go around the back and ring the bell, you can leave all your donations right there. We'll even come help you get them out of the car. And if you wanted to make a cash donation, you can do that either on our website or drop that off, or on our Facebook page, there's a link also.
How about your phone number? Let's get that out there.
It is 231-775-7299.
Well, we appreciate all of the work that you do for the people who need it the most, Sarah, and thank you for coming in. You're always welcome to stop by and tell us what's going on at Oasis.
Well, thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Join us next week for more local chat on Cadillac Unscripted, sponsored by Independent Bank on 107.9 CDY.